Switching gears now to the NBA draft that starts Wednesday with the Hornets picking fourth. We got Joey Ellis back with us, and it is time to set the record straight. Who do we think the Hornets are going to pick? There's been all this talk, but right now we're gonna make our predictions, and you guys out there, you can hold us to it this week when the team does pick on Wednesday. Joey, since you're just back from the airport, we're going to go Casey first with her pick. Wow. Who do you think the Hornets are going to pick?
Do I get the basketball?
It's all yours.
Okay, thank you.
Basketball.
So I'm going Trey Johnson. That's who I think. I know a lot of people have him actually getting picked after the Hornets are up on the board, but I'm going Trey Johnson because he's the type of guard that I feel like the Hornets need. He's very versatile, right? He can make plays off the dribble. He's got a nice little step back. He averaged 19.9 points per game last season, so we know he's a playmaker. He can also rebound, average 3 rebounds per game, so I feel like that's pretty good for a guard. And another thing, too, he's got a 6'10" wingspan.
Yeah, he's a long body.
So that makes him great on defense, great on offense. To me, he's all around just a great basketball player and someone who can bring a lot to this Hornets team.
There were scouts of a certain generation that would absolutely go nuts over that wingspan. Here's an interesting thing I just read about him. There was a scout that was sort of giving strengths and weaknesses, and one thing that this scout said was, I don't think he would play well on a bad team. Does that give you pause? Because let's face it, Charlotte is not exactly a juggernaut right now.
Right. I mean, no, we don't know how he's going to play on a bad team, right? Texas has been pretty decent in the last few seasons. So, yes, he's played on a good team, right? And he's been a major factor in that success. So if he can come in and be a major factor in Charlotte's potential success, that could change things, right? You're coming in, you don't have a great team, but when you can put great guys around a couple really good playmakers, I think that can change things.
Joey, what you got?
Man,
I'll pass the ball to you.
Thank you. There it is. I've gone back and forth on it because there's been so many people who have been saying the draft starts at pick number 3, and I really think it does because the first 2 picks have been solidified since 2021. Yep. But, I mean, you just don't know. We heard about Ace Bailey from Rutgers potentially turning down visits to Philadelphia, so who really knows what's going to happen there if he goes there at the 3rd overall pick. If he somehow still does find his way, I think the pick is VJ Edgecombe. I think he's already the 3rd most ready NBA prospect in the draft. I wouldn't be surprised if he does go 3 to Philly, just because of the skill set that he has, and I think he's already ready to play at the NBA level. But for some reason, something tells me Philly's going to mess up the pick somehow, some way. Or if there's already bad feelings with Bailey. I mean, you don't know.
If you're Philly, do you call his bluff and take him anyway, Ace Bailey?
If that is the alleged bluff, if that's actually, I know it was you who was the one I mean, there's no reason to believe otherwise, but if that's the guy they want, that's the guy they want. I mean, and he's a guy who is so raw, but he's got so much potential. But I still like Edgecombe. He's the best defender in the draft by a mile. Charlotte, we know, needs defense, and he can fill it up 16 points a game. He's just a physical freak as well. I think that's kind of been the pick for the Hornets really since the midway point of the last college basketball season. But if they're not able to get him, that's the interesting thing, because then you do have a guy like Trey Johnson who probably still will be there back if they were to trade back. I know I'm bleeding a little into you, but that's another option.
Why not Knueppel? Why does everybody roll their eyes when we bring up Knueppel?
He's a fine basketball.
That's my pick, by the way.
I think I called him a poor man's Grayson Allen coming out of college, but he plays similar.
You know what? A source actually called him that, too.
Yeah,
he made the same. Besides, he's like Kyle Korver, and he said, no. He does not move the same way that Kyle Korver moves. He's more like a Grayson Allen.
He is, and they have very similar skill sets. I just don't. 4th overall pick for a guy like that, maybe that just says to the strength or lack thereof of this class.
See, that's the thing. I think they take him, but I think they're able to trade back and get more for him.
Right.
I think that last year when they took thank you. I think last year when they took Tijan Salon, they were looking at a project. I think this year they're not looking at a project.
It's going to be much better than what they got.
They're looking at somebody that is already made to play, and when this guy's jump shot is on, there's not many better shooters in this year's class.
But can Knueppel get better than where he is?
I don't think so. I think that's sort of what you're getting.
So that's the issue with him. I think he can come in and make plays, but when there are those big challenging moments, which he did not face really with Duke, is he going to be able to step up, make those plays? Is he going to be able to grow as a player? You hope, but that's a lot of people aren't sure about that.
I mean, I think the position that the Hornets are in, let's say Edgecombe, Philly calls Bailey's bluff, they go Edgecombe at 3. And then you have Ace Bailey there at 4. And the upside of that guy might be the highest upside out of the whole class. I mean, he's a very raw talent, but he's got all the intangibles that would make you just salivate playing with Brandon Miller and LaMelo Ball if they're still there. I think Charlotte's going to be very active around the draft and post-draft as well, trying to move and bring some guys in. But I think you're in a good spot, 3 or 4. I know everybody's saying it starts at 3. If you can get Edgecombe at 4, I think that's maybe the best value pick at 4th overall because, again, I think he's the 3rd best player in the draft as it sits. But they're in a good spot, but they're also in a very interesting spot where I think they can trade back as well.
All valid points, all valid picks
I'm excited.
from the 3 of us. It'll be very interesting to see what happens on Wednesday.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.